Today we're going to wash the top of our high top van. I have a leak in two areas, and I can't figure it out. I thought it would be along the edge where the high top meets the body of the van, but I've caulked in those areas, and it doesn't seem like it's making any difference at all. So I'm suspecting possibly there might be somehow leaking through the fiberglass of the roof. Even without there being a leak, I think this product here would be a good preventative maintenance or just maintenance of the roof. Henry Tropi-Cool White Roof Coating. It's 100% silicone. I was doing a little bit of research, and that led me to this. There was some products that looked like they would be good, but they are more of just a whitening and cooling coating, and this is a waterproof coating. So talking with the company themselves, they said that this should work on the fiberglass roof, and just to wash it really well. I mentioned the TSP, which it does state in the instructions on the can about using TSP or TSP substitute, and they said you can just wash it with Dawn dishwashing liquid. So that's what I'm going to do, and hopefully the sun will dry that up, and I can get to painting today, at least the first coat. It says to coat second coat after 6 hours, I believe, and I saw a video where someone didn't wait the 6 hours. It was still tacky. I don't know what difference that would make. We won't have time to kind of go into the night and painting this, and you don't want it the dew to start falling, getting onto the roof while you're painting. So it probably won't happen today as a second coat. But one coat, that I'll be happy with that. And if I get the second coat on tomorrow, the weather's supposed to be nice again, so I can get the second coat on tomorrow and just get it to just dry in the morning sun and then get going on it. So no other prep work. So I'm using a Harbor Freight pressure washer. I got this, it's got to be over 3 years ago now, and I've done quite a bit of washing with it. I did our entire deck and our cement patio and vehicles and furniture and all kinds of stuff. It's worked really well. I haven't had any issues with it. It doesn't have the power like a professional sprayer. I've seen videos of people doing patios and decks, and they're really going to town with it really easily, and this is it's a lot slower and a lot more concentrated into like a small area where you have to go back and forth, and it's a lot more work, but it gets the job done for a very minimal price, and it's good for, like, you've got mud on the vehicle here. I got stuck in the mud a little bit in part of our driveway, so I'm gonna have to pressure wash the tire and the underneath where the mud got kicked up and everything. So it's working really well for those kinds of purposes. So I'm gonna get going on that. I wasn't going to show the cleaning process, and I'm just going to show part of it because I was surprised at how much dirt actually got on this just over the summer. So I just started pressure washing here, and makes so much difference. So I'm going to do that, and then also scrub it good with the Dawn dishwashing liquid to degrease anything and get any stubborn stuff. The cleaning is all done, and it actually looks really good. It's it's still pretty white, and I don't know how much whiter this coating's going to make it, but if it's this white or whiter, it's going to look really nice. This K, I'm thinking I'm going to have to take this off. It's like vinyl lettering, and I don't know if the coating is going to stick on that, if it'll end up peeling off of it. So I'm thinking I'm going to take that off. But that's where we're at. I found a few spots where possibly water might be leaking into. They're not holes really, but a little bit of like a groove or a gouge or something, maybe from a branch, or I don't know. But nothing that I would think would actually need repair. So this coating, I think, should seal this all up, and then I'll only have to worry about the actual edging down here. And you can't tell. I'm looking all around it, and you can't tell if it would be leaking from there or not. But at least we can concentrate on the edges, because the top we would, I guess, assume that it's sealed. So that's it for now. So I figured good time to take the K off while it's drying. I have to wait for it to dry anyway. Unfortunately, I don't have it in the sun, but I don't want to be in the sun while I'm doing this. So this is coming off pretty easily. There was a stripe on the van when we got it, because it was a medical transport, so it had that blue stripe going around it, and that was kind of hard to get off. This is a little bit, it comes off in pieces, but I had a heat gun at the time for the stripes, and I don't have a heat gun right now. So I'm just going to warm it up with a blowtorch just to make it a little more pliable. And then I have this plastic razor blade, and that seems to be making it come up pretty well. Making some progress. This took probably about 15 minutes. Now I have to get the glue off too, so I'll get some brake cleaner and wipe that off, and then scrub it with the Dawn dishwashing liquid. And then I think once it's dry, once all the water's dry, we're ready to paint. About an hour and a half to get that all off. It went pretty easy, but yeah, it's annoying. I didn't really plan on doing that, and now I have all this glue to get off. So I'm going to clean that with some brake cleaner, and hopefully that will go pretty easily. I don't have a lot left in this can, so I don't know if I'll have to go get some more. Hopefully it'll go the distance here.
Alright, that's completely done. Where the letters were, it's very, very smooth compared to the rest of the roof, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. People put this on metal roofs, on school buses and campers, so I'm not going to sand that at all, but I did scrub it really good with the brake cleaner, which took the glue off. I went over it with 3 different rags, final rag, to do the final touches on any residue that I could see, and any leftover color from the vinyl. And I scrubbed it again with the Dawn dishwashing liquid. Even the brake cleaner evaporates pretty quickly. I don't know what that might leave behind. So I'm going to let it in the sun now to dry. The back should be dry. It took about an hour and a half to 2 hours to get the lettering off. And then another, I don't know, maybe like a half an hour to clean the glue off, because I had to go and get more brake cleaner and I ran out. So the sun should be beating down on this pretty good here. This should dry pretty quickly. I'll go over any spots that where water might be pooling or anything like that, and just dry that with a rag. And then hopefully we can get to painting this in an hour, less than an hour, I would say.
Instructions say to put the coats on in alternating patterns. So first coat goes, let's say, north-south. Second coat will go east-west. So I'm going to go long ways, since it'll be probably harder to do that. And then the second coat, I'll go side to side. Just like it seems like it would be easier. So I filled the tray up using a solo cup so I can control the pouring, and I'll just get started here now. Okay, first coat done. It went on pretty easy. I used the long handle roller to go from the back here toward the front, and I was able to go well past half. And then the front was a little harder to do because of the front end being in the way. I'm at the back of the van here, and it was easier to reach, but that worked out okay. It's more of a textured look because of the roller, I think. It's flattened out a little bit. I think a second coat would be good. I'm going to have enough product that I might even put a third coat on. But I don't particularly like painting, so I may not put a third coat. I did the sides here. I did the top first, then I did the sides, and I did the roller on the back here to conform to the direction. I went down on the back here, and then on the sides I went front to back to match the top edge here. And then when I put the second coat on, I'll go back and forth, side to side, and then back here I'll go. It's definitely bright white. I don't know if it's whiter than it was. It's definitely covering up anything that was off color. There were a few spots that were where I patched in the back, put some caulking on and stuff. It's easy to work with. I did roll the front, and as you might be able to see here where the roller ended, I didn't want to come down on and get some on the windshield, so I just stopped there. And I probably should have did the brush instead of doing the sides first with the brush. I should have did the front and back with the brush first to even this out. But if that's the worst thing about it, then I probably can't even see that, can you? If that's the worst thing, then I think we're doing pretty good. Got some on the windshield here and some drippers on the car. Just most of it I got off the car. It comes off pretty easily with a rag. I wiped it as I went along. I got a lot of splashes on the window here because I was moving the roller too quickly. So I'll just go around with the razor blade and scrape that off. Okay, that's it. So right here you can see where the roller ended, and then it dried that way when I went over with the brush to go from the metal up. It didn't really merge it too well, so I'm not too worried about it. A lot of bugs got in. I figured I'll just paint over them. I tried to get one out, and I ended up getting blood in the paint, and it was just a pain. So if they're in there, they're in there. Here's from this end, looking back. It looks like it's covered up the old lettering spots where the vinyl letters were removed. So that's good.
One day later.
I'm going to start doing the second coat. I'm not too pleased with the surface from the roller from yesterday. It's got a lot of bumps on it from the nap of the roller. I had a 1/2 inch nap. Today I got 3/8, which I happen to have one in my paint equipment box. So I'm going to try that. It says it's for smooth surfaces. It feels a lot, even though it's not that much less. It feels a lot less. So hopefully that will smooth it out even more than it is now. It's very slippery. I would say that they say stuff will clean off of it, so it's like dirt repelling and all that. I believe that. So I may put a third coat on, but I'm not there yet. I'm gonna get the second coat on and then see how it goes. I'm thinking the second coat will go on a little quicker than the first coat. It took a little less than an hour or 2 hours yesterday for the first coat. That's not rushing or anything like that, just kind of going along. It was probably like an hour and 48 minutes if I had to guess. I was timing it, but I didn't stop the timer right when I got done. So probably an hour and 45 minutes, I guess. And this should go on a lot easier. I'm not going to be able to probably see where the second coat, or where the coat is not on, because it's going to be the same color. But we'll see how it works out. This coating is it starts to cure, and you'll get this thick part here, kind of like the crust on pudding. I had probably 14 ounces of paint in here, and this is starting to, on the edges here, thicken up. And once in a while I get that on the roller, and then it would be clumpy on the roof. So you have to pay attention to that. So don't put too much in there, and then I'm going to scrape that out. I have a box full of scrapings. Some from the top of the can. When I opened the can up, it had that crust on the top. So I took that off. So you're going to have some waste with this if you only buy a gallon, and you think that that's going to be really close. You're better off getting, definitely getting 2 gallons. But I don't know how much I'm going to end up using from this, but there is a lot of waste, and I just don't think it's easy to avoid it without making a huge mess, and I just don't think it's worth trying to save the stuff that's on things that are still usable, and it's just going to crust up.
1 hour, 50 minutes later.
Coat number 2 done. That was about the same time, about an hour and 50 minutes.
I just
went back
said
and forth,
that.
side to side, and I used that lower piled roller, and it went on a lot smoother. It's still got kind of like a textured look to it, but it's not as bad. So I'm a little more pleased with it. There are a bunch of tiny little bumps all over. I don't know what that is, if it's bubbles, but I think it's good enough. I think a second coat I think is going to be enough. I found an area in the corners of this tail light that had some cracks that looked like they might possibly leak, so I packed that up really good, put some in the corners there, and I might put another coat on that, but we'll see. It's kind of hard to work with this stuff. If you have it open, it's starting to cure, so it starts to get all like thick and gummy. So we need to work kind of quick with it. I think this was a good project to do. It's going to protect the roof and reflect more of the heat, hopefully. So if we are using this as a camper, we should be fine, or better, I should say. We should be better. And it's going to be easier to wash. I don't know if the rain will wash off more stuff than it normally does. But I got a lot of bugs. Tons of bugs. Not as many as yesterday, but they were flying on here while I was painting. It's annoying. So if you have a garage to do it in, that'd be ideal. Tomorrow or the next day I'll clean up the splatter that got on the windows. I just didn't feel like masking, and I was just careful enough that I don't think it'd be too bad to clean that off. And the van is white, so even if there is a little bit on the van, I'm not going to worry about it. You can see the larger spots, and I have a plastic razor blade, so if like here's a small spot here, plastic razor blade, look, I got that off with my glove, so